It's always great to get the 4Runners on the dirt. In most of my fishing videos, I don't show how we get to the locations that we go to fish. So I thought it'd be fun to show some of the overlanding that we do. I always like to look for technical routes. I just got a front air locker on the 4Runner and I've been dying to put that to the test. In this video, there was a hill climb that we were trying to get to. Unfortunately, we never got there, but it turned out to be a story about how many logs we were going to end up driving over. There were blowdowns everywhere. We did find one little hill climb with a bit of a rock garden on it. The video doesn't do it justice here. It never seems to show how steep something is. This was not an incredibly steep hill climb, but as I said, it had kind of a little rock garden on it, and it was a fun one to go up. After that, we found more logs to go over. These vehicles really don't have any problem going over logs. My only real concern is tearing a sidewall, and I did in fact have to pull a bunch of bark and tree material out from in between the wheel and tire, and so we rolled over every log we found until we came to this one. So this log was actually fairly heavy. I tried to roll it, but that wasn't going to work, so the chainsaw came out, and then the winch came out after the chainsaw. As you're going to see, we're going to pull this out of the way. It's always nice to have the right tools on board to get yourself out of just about any situation you get into. Anyways, we got this cleared, drove through, and then what you're going to see next is what happens when you accidentally leave your GoPro on and throw it onto your passenger seat. This main road down here,
yeah,
we drop back onto that main road. So there's one here. There's a couple. Yeah, I had no idea the GoPro was on while we were going through the route options there. So we get back on our way. This is towards the end of the route, and then hit the pavement, and this is just coming along the Metolius River. I think that's the first time I got my poles through a bunch of tree branch obstacles without catching a rod and breaking a rod tip. We were on the Metolius River for about a day and a half. The conditions were good, and we started off throwing dry flies. The Metolius is definitely a river of choice for me. It really brings it all together. Absolutely beautiful country, crystal clear water, and technical fishing. It's one of those places where you just feel good when you're there. You'll see what I mean about all of this in just a second. John's about to catch the perfect trout.
We shouldn't be complaining, right?
He's taking that line down deep.
This will be run number 3. He's trying to get to those trees. October caddis, baby. Second cast. Look at him go.
Wow.
See, he's halfway.
He's spooling you out.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if I should let him go.
What tippet are you on?
5.
You're good.
I'm gonna cross him. I might have to have you net him.
Oh, I'm happy to. Here.
I think it's gonna be a miracle if I get this guy in.
Oh, it's a nice red side. Oh, nice fish, John. My word, nice fish. This guy's got some ridiculous color too.
Well, that's my best fish on the Metolius right there.
Look, I mean, he's just golden with bright red.
Nice. Nice.
Whoa.
Thanks for the help, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have got him if you hadn't netted him.
He was making a run for sure.
How pretty is that fish?
Gorgeous.
Beautiful red side.
That fish John caught measured 15 inches. And when you see one like that in the net, it really gets you motivated to try and catch something similar. So I started fishing. This was a nice fish, but obviously nothing close to what he caught. In this area, I call it the convergence. I caught this, it's a nice fish, you know, not a 15-incher, but definitely has some nice color on it, and you can tell that he just wanted to get back in the water. So then John started fishing with streamers, and he just started pulling them in. So this next section of the video just shows fish that John was bringing in. Again, all of them on a streamer.
Oh. He's swimming around with sparkles in his mouth.
This white streamer with sparkles on it was the one that John was having all the success with.
Here's a nice little rainbow. Ready? Come on, little guy. Oh, there's a bull chasing him. You see that bull trout chasing him? It's a rainbow. 12. 11 or 12 maybe. What are you doing there, buddy?
So those are all fish that John brought in with the streamer. He then actually let me throw the streamer, and I immediately brought this one in. I then switched to a nymph setup and got this one.
Maybe we should try this little slot right here, John.
Third cast. They're the green ones, not the orange.
I was just trying to catch a big October caddis on the side of the river there. Big orange body and 2 big wings. And he was big. He's like over an inch long.
The color's on it.
Red side of the net. It looks like the top one. Oh, yeah. Look at this one. Look at this red side.
So we are going to say right down to here.
Beautiful. Look at him.
Got it on. Okay. There's a guy that taught me a lot about fishing that showed me a technique that I'm trying here. And it does in fact produce a fish, so it's always good to have a few tricks up your sleeve. Not a giant fish, but the thing I appreciate the most when I look back on this video, it's the same thing always with the Metolius, just how clear the water is. So after this we head back to camp and we spend the night there on the Metolius. But the next morning we air down the tires, get back on the dirt, and we point our trucks towards the Fall River. We had a fun time working our way through the dirt trails. There were a couple little rock gardens, a lot of really narrow stuff. I definitely have some new scratches down to the primer on the side of the 4Runner. But all in all, it was a good route. A couple more fallen logs, stuff like that to drive over. But just a lot of nice country to see. On this section, as I said, there were some logs and stuff to go over, but we did not need to get the chainsaw out, and we did not need to use the winch. We are heading for an afternoon stop at this cabin. Here's a view from ground level. We decide to relax at the cabin for a while, and I asked John to tell us about the 15-inch trout he caught.
That big 15-inch fatty you caught on the Metolius a couple days ago.
Oh, by the grace of God, it was amazing.
How'd you hook him up?
We were on a double nymph rig with a little October caddis on the bottom, and you had to slide it across the river under this log with brush on both sides. It was really high stakes, high risk fishing. But
I know that log because I've left probably a dozen wet flies on it. I've decorated it.
Yeah, and I've added to the foliage on either side of it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like a tackle box.
So big hard chomp, and
yeah, he took it, just sunk it. There was no, he set the hook. I didn't even have to do anything. But,
yeah.
He must have been caught before because he ran right for the brush, and actually was taking line going upstream. So that's when I knew it was a quality red side.
Yeah, and I was just maybe 50 yards away and saw it, and you were spooling out, to the backing.
To the backing
Like
twice.
3 times. Oh, I thought it was like 3 times.
Yeah.
It was the 3rd time when I got there.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was nice of you to run all the way downstream, risking your life on the boulders.
Yeah.
To net that fish for me, because there's no way I would have landed it.
Got him in the net. Beautiful fish.
He was on his way to Billy Chinook.
Yeah.
That's my best fish on the boat.
We then hit the trails again, and we find this great place to camp right on the river. We broke out the stove, and this is what we had for dinner. The next morning we went straight to pavement as fast as we could and beelined our way to the Fall River and started fishing. On the Fall River we threw only dry flies. We were fishing a section I was unfamiliar with, but I started out with a couple little small ones. This one's a little brookie. Then I hooked into a bigger fish here. John was off fishing further downstream from me and doing pretty good in his own right. Here's the release of that fish I just caught. Once again, the Fall River, like the Metolius, one of the most remarkable things about it is just how clear the water is. As I said, we were throwing dry flies all day, and I started to think strategically. It's a pretty technical river. There's a lot of trees and blowdown and obstacles in the river.
A little brookie.
While I was thinking about how to approach some of those obstacles, these deer decided they'd fish with me. I just kept casting. I stood there for a while throwing flies, and they were just hanging out. Eventually they decided there was other places for them to go. I got this one more nice one, and then switched over to a Tenkara rod and had that fish on, and then right here he's just off the hook. And I'm using a fly so small it's barely perceptible to the human eye, so I get another one on the hook and it's the same outcome. It's just off. And I guess I'm a little frustrated there, but finally I get one in the net on the Tenkara rod with this teeny fly. Here you can see some of the underwater obstacles that I was talking about, and that's why I switched to the Tenkara rod, because I could present very close to those logs without any visible fly line at all. Anyways, that was end of the overlanding and fishing trip, guys. It's all good fun. Thanks for watching.